Hi, everyone. Welcome to the C60 show.
Hi, I'm Ken, the scientist, and I'm here to show you how C60 can help you detox.
And I am Sierra. I'm a mom, and I've been a health and wellness advocate for over 20 years now. Thank you so much for joining us. Please chime in the comments. Let us know where you're from. Today's show, as Ken said, is going to be all about detox. We're exposed to toxins every day. The food that we eat, the water that we drink, the air we breathe, it's everywhere. So we're going to share some great tips with you today on how to avoid toxins, but also we're going to dive deep into some really amazing benefits that C60 has in being able to help your body not only detoxify, but also prevent the damage that toxins cause. So we're going to go deep into that.
Oh, and after the presentation, we're going to do our question and answer session. So if you'll put your questions up on comments or on the Facebook page.
And just a little announcement, this is going to be our last show for the summer, our last live show. So we're going on a little hiatus so that we can focus on creating some a little bit more high production value content for you guys and some videos. We're going to be working on the production of our short video series. And so if you want to sign up for our newsletter, we'll make sure you get notified every time we release a new video. So definitely today is the day to get any questions unanswered.
Yep.
Let's make sure we get those answered. But you can continue to email us your questions at c60purplepower.com. So while I am sharing my screen, please take a chance to share this video with your friends. Oh, the following statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Individual results may vary.
All opinions expressed on our show today are for informational purposes only and are not a substitute for professional medical advice. Please seek advice from your doctor or other qualified healthcare practitioner.
This is a quote that you might recognize, and Ben Franklin might say this if he were alive today. In this world, nothing can be said to be certain except death and toxins. They are everywhere. They're in the air, water, the food, the soil, the products that we use, and we're going to talk to you about some of them. But it's a real issue, and it really does affect our health. Bob Wright from the American Cancer Institute says basically there's two things that cause cancer: radiation and chemicals. So this is really important to both avoid them, but also avoid the damage caused by them. So basically cancer is caused by chemicals and radiation. You can explode that out to many different types of chemicals, whether it's what you put in your body, what you breathe, what you eat, radiation from all sources, including mammograms, CT scans, Wi-Fi, cell towers. Cancer is caused by chemicals and radiation, period. One thing you may not know is that air pollution is a major environmental risk to health. Luckily in the States, we don't have it quite so bad, but in Asia and Africa, South Africa, it's a real problem. It's causing short-term and also long-term symptoms of toxic overload, long-term being things like stroke, heart disease, and even cancer. And that's the definition of carcinogenic, is basically having something that has the potential to cause cancer. Not only do we have outdoor pollution, but we've also got indoor air pollution.
Yeah, and you can see all the different things that go in there, and especially if you've got like a new house, you got the new house smell or the new car smell. Well, those are kind of things, those are chemicals coming off the plastics, and it kind of smells maybe nice or whatever, but it's not good. So but there's other things you got, like down in the basement. People have always heard about, you got the mold and the mildew. There's carbon monoxide. It comes out of your car, but also if your furnace isn't done right or it's leaking, that can cause a real problem. And you should have a carbon monoxide warning device in your house. Just plug it. It plugs sticks into a plug. You should always have one of those. And then there's all kinds of things like formaldehyde. That's in a lot of insulating materials and stuff, and some plastic. So that's a pain. And of course, there's all kinds of other things. The carpets, that's why wood is better than carpet. So the thing is, the whole goal here is there's just lots of things. And we're not even talking about the house things. We'll get into that. So the less toxins you could expose yourself to, the better. Oh, and don't forget the radon that goes in your basement. So that's an important thing to be aware of if you're living in a granite state. If you're living on calcium carbonate, you don't have to worry about it.
Now, when I was at the CLE conference, the Conscious Life, when we went to the Conscious Life Expo, I learned a lot from a seminar that was done all about this and how to basically detoxify your home and the products that you're using. And there's actually professionals that specialize in going into your home and finding out exactly what sources of your indoor air pollution, where they're coming from. But if you can avoid, one thing you can do to avoid some of the formaldehydes and off-gassing of certain products is buy solid wood furniture instead of the particle board, the laminates and glues and things that they use off-gas. Even a brand new pair of sneakers. It's really kind of scary how intense and mattresses, all these things that have they're called VOCs, volatile organic chemicals.
It just means they evaporate and then you breathe
They turn into gases, and some people think it smells good. VOCs, like that new car smell. Awesome. A good idea to air it out. Another thing you can do, you could use an ozone generator, which in about a half hour does the same effect of airing something out for 2 weeks outside. So I bought a new stand-up paddleboard, and man, that thing stinked so bad. Stinks. Anyway, it was so stinky, and I knew, I was like, oh no. So I had to use the ozone machine. But be careful with those, though. Make sure you Google how to use them. Sources, we mentioned some of these.
Here are the VOCs, and that's they're in everything. Cosmetics. That's another one. That's why a lot of people can't handle because it's anything. It's basically any chemical that can evaporate, and they usually smell because they're polyphenols or something. And so when you use they're used in that. So you can look at all the things here: fabric softeners, air fresheners. I mean, get like non-smelly soaps and stuff, like the ones that have it makes the Febreze makes it smell better. No, you don't want that. It may smell good, but it's not good for you.
Yeah, those plug-in deodorizer things. Awful.
None of those. Of course, we all know things like paint solvents, tobacco smoke, traffic emissions. I lived in LA for a while. And that was like living in LA was like smoking a pack and a half of cigarettes a day.
Also, if you're remodeling your house, be really careful. You might enlist somebody, a contractor, or someone that knows how to do installation and contract work that doesn't use some of these things. I don't know if you can totally avoid them, but maybe avoid carpet. New carpet is just awful.
Yeah, well, wood floors would work better. And also pesticides. Don't use those pesticides in your house and all that other stuff, or having them sprayed in your yard. If it's bad enough to kill insects, it's going to mess with you because, and at that cellular level, there's not a lot of difference in the biochemistry between ourselves and insects or fungi or something because, it's all the basic cellular chemistry. So, you just have to be aware of that kind of stuff. So the less you expose yourself, the better. That's the main thing. But then you do have some exposure, but we'll talk about how you can. But, in the meantime, try to eliminate as much as possible from your house.
And what's good for you is also good for the planet. So keep that in mind. If you're spraying your yard, you're killing bees too.
Yep.
May is the month of no mowing. Is you're not supposed to mow your lawn in the month of May because that's when all the awesome dandelions come out and they feed the bees. So just something to keep in mind. This is a funny cartoon. This guy's wearing a mask and he's spraying the heck of it out of these vegetables. And the little, what is that? A gopher is saying, hey, do you also eat these with that mask on?
Oh, yeah, that's it. Because any of those pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, if they, they kill things and they'll poison you too. So just be aware of that. So, minimize, like you see the Roundup guys going out and squirting the stuff on their yard. That's just stupid. It'll poison your children. And then when the water comes, it'll poison things downstream. So, just pull the weed out of the ground. Don't spray with the chemical. There's a thing called physical work, and the exercise will do you good anyway. That's true.
It will. The sunshine, it will do you good. So go out and pick some weeds. That's a great suggestion. But also glyphosates we've talked about on the gut health show. Definitely check it out. It can just destroy the good bacteria in your gut. And is found in GMO foods, but also non-GMO foods. So even if it's labeled non-GMO, there's no guarantee of safety. They can still spray with pesticides and chemicals. So your best bet is certified organic. Also for meats, grass-fed is really good. Pasture-raised meats are really good. They're feeding on grass that's not sprayed. So that would be ideal. Let's talk about the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15. What do we eat here? How can we avoid toxins?
Well, look at the Dirty Dozen. And if you noticed, of those of you can see it, if they're not podcasters, they're pretty much all the soft fruits of the Dirty Dozen. You always want to buy these organic. And they're things like strawberries or spinach or kale or nectarines, apples, grapes. They're all, peaches, cherries, pears, tomatoes, celery, even potatoes. Well, that's a different thing. Yeah. So these things, insects like to eat them, and so do other things. And so they spray them, but they have such thin skins that it goes in. So you would always, any of those things, you should always buy organic. But you
I don't know why apples aren't on here, but apples are really bad. Oh, they are.
Yep, they are.
Apples are so toxic that are sprayed, that are not organic, that they actually, like the apple juice is very, very dangerous. And so more concentrated forms of these fruits and vegetables that are not organic, like raisins, for instance, are highly toxic if they've actually measured the toxic level of like Raisin Bran and some cereals that use raisins. So just be careful about that.
Yeah, but so they had some other ones here, but they're less, but they're cleaner than that if you had a choice, like avocados, pineapples, onions, papayas. They have kind of like thicker skins. Snap peas, a lot of asparagus. Those things just don't get insects on them.
Right.
And cantaloupes, because they got a heavier skin. So if they do spray something on it, doesn't get in as much. So anyway, honeydew melons, kiwis, things like that.
It's good to familiarize yourself with this list, because if you're in an area that doesn't have a very good choice of organic produce, it's good to know what you can eat safely that's not organic.
Yeah, you can't be perfect, but you strive toward a better way.
Absolutely. And then with processed foods, I'd like to avoid them altogether. But, definitely, especially with processed foods, you're giving your kids chips and things like that, all that yummy junk food they love. Well, there's pretty much an organic version of all of the junk foods you can think of. Pop-Tarts. Yeah, Annie's makes Pop-Tarts. Like, there's organic versions. So try to stick with those as much as possible. Let's talk about some other chemicals. PFAS are huge. Now, PFAS last for a long time in the environment, and they unfortunately get into the water system. We buy clothes that might have water-resistant chemicals on them, and then we wash them in the washing machine, and that water all ends up in the ocean eventually, and it ends up in the fish that we eat. It ends up in the meat that we eat.
Yeah, PFAS are basically just long-chain carbons where they got a lot of fluorides attached to them. And that makes them really, really resistant to degradation. But that's like your no-stick pan, right? But if you never have a no-stick pan, if you got a parrot or other birds in your house, because you cook with the no-stick pan, you heat it up too much, your parrots will keel over.
Oh my gosh!
Because we're a little more resistant to that, but birds aren't.
And they put this stuff in everything. They even use it in like candy bar wrappers and granola bar wrappers, and I don't think being organic excludes them from using those things.
No, because these are in the wrappers, right? So they're not
organic.
In the food. So you just have to be careful. These are another one of those things that's just something you don't want to deal with.
And this is another reason to make your food from scratch and not to buy that stuff. Easier said than done, though. I'm a mom. Let's face it. I've got to buy the granola bars. I'm not making homemade granola bars, but we do what we can. But like I said, these PFAS end up in our different foods. If you look at the food, you see that these little dots here, as they get larger, that shows basically even more parts per trillion. And if you look at chocolate cake, oh my gosh.
Iced chocolate cake. Yeah. And that's probably something to do with the frosting or something. Teflon frosting. I don't know.
It's
really horrible.
Insane. Yeah. 17. I mean, it's like 100 times more PFAS in iced chocolate cake than in tilapia or shrimp. Like, it's insane. I don't think I'm ever, does this, it probably includes cupcakes, I'm sure.
Well, another thing you got to think, PFAS and a lot of other things like dioxins and mercury and other heavy metals, they tend to concentrate in the food chain. So the higher up the food chain or out of water, because they like to go into the water, right? They go into the water, tends to concentrate there. So, things like, shrimp and sardines don't have a lot of it, but if you eat like swordfish, then you're going to pick up a lot of it. And these PFAs are just one of a bunch of these long-term chemicals that they didn't really understand. A lot of countries have banned them, but not here. So you just have to be aware and do your own due diligence.
I like how this is color-coded, this chart, but you see the iced chocolate cake, it goes all the way around.
I have no idea what that is. That's something, obviously,
I gotta find out.
What did they do? Spray it with Teflon?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was just that's just a kind of a little warning out there. There could be things that are just insane,
And the PFAs can end up in the soil. I mean, I'm sure they don't spray pineapple with PFAs.
No, it just builds up. It's one of those things. Once it gets into the food chain, it just kind of goes up and concentrates. And so you want to eat lower on the food chain, which is, you want shrimp and sardines over swordfish and that. But you notice it's not really high in the beef or chicken.
I don't think I'm going to have tilapia anymore.
They grow, and a lot of that tilapia that you'll see, the pan-fried catfish and the baked tilapia, that's because those are farm-raised fish.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you have farm-raised fish, they go through, they eat processed foods, right? And the processed foods have concentrations of PFAs in it. So
is that
if it was
the same as shrimp too?
Yeah,
shrimp's pretty high.
Yeah, a lot of shrimp is also farm raised.
Oh.
So it's just those are farm raised fish. So if you want, you can get wild fish, and it's just anything in the aquatic system tends to concentrate
pretty scary.
This or anything else a lot more than it does cow eating grass.
Now, PFAs, what do they do to your body? I know they're chemical, but are they carcinogenic?
They do all kinds of nasty things. Some of them, like they'll oxidize the cholesterol in your blood. And then it becomes nasty. And that's actually one of the reasons you get heart disease, because you got PFAs, they're oxidizing the cholesterol in your blood. Of course, you get C60, it'll stop the oxidation process, and so you don't get that problem. But yeah, that's just one of they just basically break down. And remember, when these toxins break down, what they're doing is they're basically, as they break down, they're making oxidative radicals. And then those oxidative radicals are what goes off and does the damage. So if you got C60, and the C60 can neutralize those oxidative radicals before they get damaged, and that's one of the reasons why people take C60 has such great benefits, because you've got so many toxins in your body, they're making so many oxidative radicals, and they're already in there, they're not going away for a while. So C60 can give you that little protection that it's just the way it is. I mean, they're in your body, they're not going to go away for a while, and either you use C60 and neutralize those oxidative radicals or suffer. So. But anyway,
moving on. But
moving on.
This is the scary stuff for sure. And I don't know how to avoid PFAs. Maybe if I ate a vegetarian diet, I would be better off. I don't know, but moving on.
Yep.
Here's a really big topic, something I've been kind of having an aha moment about lately. I want to tell you guys, so if you're using personal care products, beauty products, skincare products, and you're putting them on your skin, that ends up in your bloodstream. So don't put anything on your skin that you can't eat, basically. And there are some common chemicals used in skincare and makeup, like parabens, which is a byproduct of the petroleum industry, and fragrances, which can be endocrine disrupting chemicals, phthalates, mineral oil, which is also a paraben, triclosan. These are all carcinogenic. Like my housemate was using a certain type of toothpaste, and it was causing issues for him because there was this chemical in it. And as soon as he stopped using that toothpaste, that problem went away, which is good news, but it's scary. I mean, I can't believe we're allowing, and that's the thing about the United States allows a lot more toxic chemicals into these products than Europe. So we have completely different standards, and unfortunately they suck. But here's the trick. Now, this is something that will be very eye-opening. It was for me. There's an app called Think Dirty, and you can download that on your iPhone or your Android phone. And you can scan the barcode of any product in your house, your shampoo, your conditioner, your deodorant. Definitely check out your deodorant. Okay, this is eye-opening. It basically rates the product on a scale from 1 to 10, actually 0 being the cleanest, safest, and 10 being the most dirty, the most toxic. I have been using some deodorant for a while. I've been buying the same kind from a natural grocery store with mostly organic products, right? So I bought this deodorant, and I was thinking it would be great. Well, I looked it up. It was 8. It was a number 8. It was in the red zone. It was toxic. I couldn't believe it. So, and then what this app allows you to do as well is I was able to search up deodorant, find out which one was the cleanest. And I went and I bought some Tom's of Maine, just so you know. Went bought some Tom's of Maine deodorant, which was a 0 on the scale. So this is what you can do to avoid toxins today. Go through all of your products and find out which ones are clean. I had to replace a bunch of my makeup. But luckily, using this app, I was able to find what kind of things I could use to replace that were cleaner versions. So we're going to talk about some short-term kind of symptoms of toxic overload. These can be very, it's like the canary in the coal mine. These can tell you, like, are you having a runny nose all of a sudden? Are your eyes red? I mean, I can tell when there's something in my environment that's not quite right. So let's talk about those.
Okay, there's fatigue. You're tired. And that's because your body's fighting the toxin or its effects, and you don't have the energy. Memory loss, well, that can especially, another one, that can, especially with pesticides. Don't ever use pesticides, please. Not in your garden, not in your house. Brain fog, that's kind of goes with the memory loss because your brain's messed up.
Well, those neurotoxins,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
They get in your brain.
Yeah, a lot of those organophosphates really mess things up. Of course, insomnia, that's another one. Not all of these can come from toxins, but a lot of them, they're think about toxins in food, right? You may be eating some food that, you eat some food and then all of a sudden you're tired, so that might be something in that toxin in that food. Hypersensitivity, that starts to happens when your body fills up with toxins, because it takes a while for toxins to get out. Some take a long time. And so, when you start getting to the top of the cup, that's where you start getting hypersensitivity. Headaches, of course, that's a good one. We probably know that, like if you're driving a lot of smog behind cars, you'll get a headache sometimes. That's, carbon monoxide and other nastiness. Digestive issues, that's huge. So there are so many digestive issues, and that's because, the glyphosates and all the other nasties in our diet, and that kills off the good bacteria, which then there's bad bacteria, and so you get multiple. That's one of those multiple problems. Eczema, that's your body kind of trying to get rid of toxins.
Yeah. Eczema, yeah. And your skin, of course, is related directly to your gut health.
Yep. So actually another good thing is, we'll just bring it in here, is like saunas. Because, you do the sauna thing, and so it causes you to sweat, and, your skin is like the biggest organ in your body, the highest surface area for sure, and you can sweat a lot of toxins out through a sauna. But you have to make sure you take a shower afterwards. So
and I recommend
wash those toxins off.
And I recommend an infrared sauna because it's not as heated, but it gets deeper into the tissues, so it can release,
Yeah, for $500 or $600, you can get a really good little infrared sauna. You can put up in your side room. It pops up, bing, and you sit in it, and it's a really good. They're pretty cool.
Oh, sorry.
And depression
and anxiety kind of go together.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Your brain's not working right, and so you're having problems. Yeah, that's a natural thing. Runny nose, that's a real common one, because
I have a story about this. So they sprayed a couple days ago in my neighborhood. Unfortunately, the HOA likes to spray. So I told my kids they couldn't play outside and that morning, so they weren't allowed to go outside. But then later that afternoon, around 3 or 4, I let them go outside. Well, my son came in about a half hour being out there, and his eyes were bloodshot red. His nose was running. He was constantly sneezing. It wasn't allergies because he hasn't had that problem since. It literally was just that chemical. He is like the canary.
They spray those nasty things on the lawn to kill off the dandelions and other things, which are actually food. But but then if it poisons something, it'll poison you. Basically standard. So don't use poisons, otherwise you'll get poisoned. And that's acne. That's another one that's caused by a lot of toxins. And a lot of that's, trying to get toxins out. So, sometimes it's probably due to the food that the kids are eating more than, because a lot of other cultures that eat differently from us don't have acne, even though, they go through their teenage years. It's our toxic food products.
And the stuff they use to treat acne that you put on your skin that has chemicals in it, I don't recommend that.
Yeah, just eat.
Try healing your gut first.
Yes, heal your gut and eat a healthy diet.
Yeah.
And as we say, buy organic whenever possible.
Yes.
You can't be perfect. I know you go out to eat, but we're striving toward a better way, not looking for perfection, because we're not going to get there. But you can do a whole lot better than you are now.
It's true. So there's some long-term health effects of pollution as well. Not on here is Alzheimer's, might be related to aluminum, heavy metals.
And yeah, I mean, you look at the different things as, the soil contamination. There's so many glyphosates and pesticides and herbicides and other nastiness that's sprayed on the food. Then you eat that food. That's why you want to eat organic. And then all the stuff in the air. That's a lot you can't do about the air. I mean, we live every now and then when the wind blows. There's a town called Greeley near us, and that's where they have like all these cattle lots. And if the wind's blowing the wrong way, you could smell it to 50 miles away. So, and so the same thing with, carbon monoxide, especially if you're living in a big city. And the other thing about water pollution too is if you're living like along, we get mountain runoff here. I got a well, but a lot of the people in the East Coast or in the Midwest, they're pulling that water out of rivers, right? There's a lot of things like various drugs and pesticides and you name it that can't be taken out through the processing systems.
We're all on Prozac.
Yeah, exactly. So you need to, if you're taking that water, you need to like step it up and have like one of those ozonated water or the super filters or whatever, because that's just, we don't have that problem out in the West where we are, but if you're back East or Midwest, you have that problem, then you need to, fixing your water is really important.
And filtering your shower water is also really important because it can evaporate into the air and you're breathing in those chemicals.
But you can just see,
they absorb into your skin.
Yeah, everything you can expose to. Yeah, it's messing you up. And these things didn't exist 50 years ago. There was very few chemicals, unnatural chemicals, right? But they have like something like 80,000 chemicals, which they are using in our modern industrial process. And, they haven't had testing for 99.9% of them.
But guess what? As a consumer, you vote with what you buy. So when you buy organic, you're promoting organic farming and everything else. And then when you stay away from products that have these toxins in them, eventually they're going to get smart and go, oh, we better go all natural. Oh, we better take out these things, Yeah.
And I have relatives that are farmers and, some of them you do the glyphosate, all that other stuff, and they're dying like flies and they're all terribly, terribly unhealthy because they're spraying that stuff. They're around it all the time. And it's just ugly, but you can't talk to them.
You guys ready for the good news now?
Okay, let's make some good news. Oh,
actually, I'm not ready.
Well, we're here. But anyway,
let's talk about the phase of how the body, because here is the good news, actually. Okay. The good news is that your body actually can cleanse itself as long as the organs are working and functioning properly and they're not overwhelmed. So let's talk about the liver, because that's one of the
Okay, yeah, well,
organs.
That's one of the things, look, it's like drugs and alcohol and food additives. And those are kind of, so eating healthy and kind of, especially during our current time when people probably drink a little too much or hanging out. So anyway, all this stuff's coming in there. You minimize what you can, but you're still going to get some. So what can you do? There's things that can help you break down, that your body needs to help break down toxins. And these are the list here. Isn't got C60 in it, but it should be. And, you need your vitamins. And which are, antioxidants like vitamin C. Of course, C60 goes there too. B vitamins. Buy a really good multivitamin. Go to a healthcare store, look it up depending on your age, and get yourself a really good multi-mineral, multivitamin, multi-mineral supplement. That's just like so important that you can't, because modern farming and a lot of the processed foods, they don't have the vitamins and the mineral nutrients that you need to stay healthy. And you're not going to get them otherwise. You have to go out there and get a vitamin, good vitamin, go down there. There's
organic vitamins.
Yeah. There's plenty of choices in a health food store near you. So, and then there's also the other thing is like detoxing herbs and spices. I guess that's another dandelions. I'm reading a book about 13 wild weeds that grow in your yard you can eat. So.
Oh yeah. Dandelions are amazing.
Yeah. And so there's a lot of things you can do. And if they're a little strong, you just steam them and then they're good too.
And you can get these also from fruits, veggies, organic animal products, sunshine, herbs, and spices.
Yeah, there's a thing called vitamin D. And you get vitamin D from going out in the sunshine. That's why you get sick in the wintertime, because you're inside all the time. You're wearing clothes. Your body doesn't get vitamin D that it needs, and then you get sick. So don't hide out in your house. Get out there and walk around. Get 15 to 30 minutes of sunshine and, short sleeve shirts. It's not like what I wear.
Also, looking at the toxin types on the left, we also have drugs, including pharmaceutical drugs. This is one thing that we really stress is if you can avoid taking certain drugs, of course, you want to consult your doctor. But anytime you can come up with a natural solution to whatever it is, if you have high cholesterol and you go to a different diet that helps, with your good cholesterol levels and lowers your bad cholesterol levels. There's ways you can, through healthy diet and lifestyle changes, you can create really amazing healing results and support your body to heal itself. And of course, using C60 will help that as well. But yeah, pharmaceutical drugs have, toxins in them and chemicals.
And they have another thing like neutralizing toxins, your amino acids. They have these really good things where you can actually go and you can buy like the 10, they have like little pills, the 10 critical amino acids. Because sometimes you might not get all your amino acids. There's like 22 of them, right? Some of them you don't need that much, but some of them you need all the time. And a lot of the foods don't have that. So you can actually get like amino acid supplements.
These will neutralize toxins.
Yeah, exactly. But they're also make everything work, like glutamine, which makes glutathione, glycine, lysine, taurine, cysteine. I mean, all of these things your body does to make glutathione's like 3 of them put together, 3 of those ones. And then of course you get the other thing I said, take extra magnesium, iodine, and because those are also things that are way low in people's diets. But basically eating a good diet is really important. And so, I mean, a good organic diet, the best you can. So anyway.
And a good source of amino acids is bone broth. Just make sure you're using grass-fed organic bones if you can.
Yeah.
Fish, gelatin, some veggies, and eggs.
Yeah. And when you're doing fish, go lower in the food chain. So, don't do swordfish, do sardines or halibut. Some of those are lower guys. On the lower in the food chain, the less toxins they carry. And of course, what's the number? Oil, because it's your liver. Your liver does the toxins, and your kidneys do some of the other toxin things. Good thing C60 likes to hang out in the liver before it goes out through the gallbladder. So so the C60 kind of knows where to go. So you got a good dose of C60 in your liver, and that's where most of the toxins go, where most of the oxidative damage is. And so, C60 kind of already knows how to do its job.
So C60 is what's awesome about C60 is that it goes everywhere. And it works at the cellular level. And so the toxins have no place to hide. And it supports the liver function, which we're going to talk about here in a second. We've also had reports from customers who have reported miraculous liver function restoration. I think we've got that one coming up.
Here we go.
Actually, this one's about kidney. This is from Debbie. She says, I've lost 33% kidney function indicated from blood work done 6 months ago through lab results. I've been taking C60 about 6 months. My most recent blood test results show no loss of kidney function, complete reversal of kidney loss of function. My kidneys are now operating at 100%. My internist says she can't explain the healing of the kidney damage. Either God has chosen to reverse the damage, or C60 Purple Power has worked at healing my kidney damage. C60 Purple Power has improved the quality of my life tremendously.
Yeah, and the thing is, just like my macular regeneration thing, C60 doesn't heal anything. What C60 does is it lifts the oxidative burden, the toxic burden that your cells are under. And once that burden is lifted, then your cells can heal themselves. Your proper biochemistry in your body can happen. So like that, the biochemistry, for instance, that gets rid of toxins. When you get so loaded up with toxins, the biochemistry which eliminate toxins is damaged. So you can't even eliminate the toxins that you're already built up with. Well, you get in there and what are toxins doing? They're causing inflammation through oxidative radicals, right? C60 gets rid of the oxidative radicals, you get rid of the inflammation, your cells can work the way they're supposed to, so they can actually get rid of the toxins that exist. And so that's kind of how the whole thing works. So you need to be aware of that. You got to lift that burden so your own body can do the healing.
And as you age, this also does reduce your body's ability to cleanse itself, because you don't have the level of antioxidants that you used to have when you were younger, or the hormones or the...
Yeah, that's another thing I can tell you about. But anyway, that's kind of one of those things that come with aging. But we're here to see C60, the wonderful molecule, 60 carbon atoms, shaped like a mini soccer ball. Yes. And what it does, it's just, as we talked before, we have all these toxins in the environment. These toxins, even radiation too. Radiation doesn't damage you. What happens is radiation creates oxidative radicals. Those oxidative radicals do the damage. Toxic chemicals, they break down. They create oxidative radicals. The same with heavy metals. Heavy metals create oxidative radicals, especially if they're hydroxylated or something, or methylated. And then those oxidative radicals do the damage. You got C60. It neutralizes the oxidative radicals before they can cause damage, before they can cause inflammation, and that's kind of the secret. And one of the interesting things here is is C60 supports the body's own ability to naturally detox. And oh, by the way, everything we're saying here is backed up by multiple scientific studies. So it neutralizes free radicals, oxidative radicals, right? Reactive oxidative species, they have the same name for the same thing, and prevents the damage. So, you got the toxins, you got the radiation, you got all that, and those things do damage by oxidative radicals. So C60 neutralizes the oxidative radicals so that the toxins or the radiation can't do the damage.
Here's what I find interesting. I know people ask us a lot about how C60 can help with heavy metals. Well, not only does it neutralize the free radicals and prevent the damage that the heavy metals cause, but it actually converts the heavy metals so they become biologically inactive.
Yeah, and that's one of the things they found in this one scientific study is basically C60, even a tiny amount, worked as a catalyst, and it would convert mercury hydroxide into mercury oxide, which is not biologically available, but the body can identify it and excrete it out, or tantalum oxide, or some of these other ones. Mercury, or same with aluminum, turns it into an oxide, which isn't biologically available. That's why you can't eat rocks and get minerals out of them. And then once it's turned that way, the body can neutralize it, can recognize it, and then your body's own system can get it out of there. So this is actually scientific studies that C60 can do that.
You know what I've experienced when I first started taking C60, the first after day one, I noticed a metallic taste in my mouth, but after 2 more days, that went away. But I'm wondering if it was maybe because some of the amalgams that I've had in my dentistry, if it was pulling out some of those heavy metals, dislodging them, things like that.
Let's go to the next one. And that's another thing that C60 does. So one of the things is C60 is about a little bit bigger than most heavy metals, but it also has a slight positive 2 charge, kind of like a lot of heavy metals do. And so that's, that's like hydroxyl radicals can stick to a active inorganic metal in your body, and that's where oxidative radicals cause. Well, oxidative hydroxyl radicals can stick to C60. C60 turns them back to water. And so C60 kind of goes out there because you take it in the milligrams, and these heavy metals are in the micrograms. And it basically goes in there and kicks them out wherever they're hiding. And there's so much of it, they can't redeposit. And then it neutralizes them down to a form that your body can recognize as inorganic and needs to be flushed out.
Is that why I tasted that in my mouth?
Yeah, it was flushing. It was turning it in, and it was turning it into metal oxide, and then your body can grab it and flush it. And so and remember, it's your own body's doing the work. C60 only, lifts the oxidative burden, kicks the guys out, and then your own body does the healing because now it can work.
You know what's interesting? I know there are like some green juices you can do and some different like cleansing diets and juices and herbs and stuff. But the thing about those is that they can only cleanse like certain areas of the body, whereas C60 can cross the gut barrier, the blood-brain barrier. And so if the heavy metals, a lot of times like the aluminum gets in the brain that causes Alzheimer's, so it can actually cross that barrier and cleanse these and convert these metals into inactive compounds.
Yeah, and another thing that C60 does, of course, I've talked about it lots of times, how C60 restores mitochondria function. Mitochondria are the energy powerhouse of the cell. They make the ATP. That's the energy molecule, does 99% of all the biochemical processes, powers them, right? So once your ATP levels are back up, that means your cells can work. Your cells can work correctly. Your cells can work to get rid of toxins. Your cells can do whatever they're supposed to be doing really well. And of course, C60 also increases production of pregnenolone because mitochondria make pregnenolone, and that's the precursor for all your hormones. So now your hormone levels go back up, all the hormones, whether it's the human growth hormone in your pineal pituitary gland, whether it's, your adrenals, your thyroid, your thymus, it doesn't matter. Wherever it is, those cells can now produce the hormones they need, and then they can do what's right. And it's not like hormone replacement therapy where you get one hormone and that's it. No, this is the body now has the precursor and can make whatever it wants in the amounts that it wants. And it's not, it's not like artificial.
And one thing to note is that C60 actually resets itself. It's got that spherical cage. And so because it resets itself, it's able to recycle in the body, and you only need a teaspoon a day of this oil to really experience the benefits.
Oh yeah, and I think there's somebody had a question about that, but anyway, which we'll get to. But yeah, that's one of the things. C60 can reset itself, like in the mitochondria. Usually the mitochondria, it's getting a little sciencey here, but listen up. In the mitochondria, one of the biggest pollutants in the mitochondria is superoxygen. That's an oxygen with an extra electron. And normally the body uses SOD, superoxide dismutase, to turn it into a hydrogen peroxide. Then catalase comes by, turns the hydrogen peroxide into two waters. Well, with C60 takes the super oxygen, pulls the electron off, and it turns back into oxygen. So it actually, when you have C60, it actually increases the oxygen available to the Krebs cycle. So you get a significant increase in oxygen levels to run your Krebs cycles, which is really important. So that's kind of, there was a question that was coming up. I just thought I'd throw that in because now's the time.
Now's the time for questions.
Now's the time for questions and answers. Yes.
I hear we have some.
Yes, we did. We
on
had a good
YouTube?
amount.
Okay.
Oh, we'll get some of the active ones
Let's
first.
see. Yeah, let's start
We
with
got
the
a big
YouTube
list of
questions.
the other ones.
We do. Let's see. Carrie on Facebook says, hi, Ken and Sierra. Hi, Carrie.
Hi.
Nice to see you here. Let's see. Jean says, what is the standard dose for intake of C60?
Okay, two things. Basically, a teaspoon a day is enough. Like a tablespoon a day, if you're a healthy 30-pound adult or a 30-year-old, 40-year-old adult, 1 tablespoon would be enough if you weighed 330 pounds. So if you weigh half of that, then a teaspoon is perfectly fine because a tablespoon is what, 3 teaspoons?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the other thing is age. When you get a little older, then you need to double up. So maybe 2 teaspoons a day for if you weighed 150 pounds and you're in your late 50s, 60s or older, a teaspoon a day. Or if you're up in your 70s, maybe it's a tablespoon a day. So, so there's 2 things, body mass, age.
Or if you're being exposed to a polluted environment, if you're in Asia and you're breathing.
Yeah.
Small.
So basically, So if you're in that kind of challenge, a tablespoon a day is more appropriate. If you're, doing okay and, you're moderate weight, moderate age, then a teaspoon could do fine.
Let's see. Can I take vitamin C while taking C60?
Oh, yeah. You can take anything with C60. C60 only interacts with high energy oxidative radicals like superoxygen, hydrogen peroxide, the hydroxyl radical or ion, other peroxides and stuff like that. It doesn't even interfere with the nitrogen oxides, which are part of the signaling molecule for your cell. So no, it's not even a problem there. So that's just so that's one of the things. That's why C60 has no toxicity at any level because it only deals with high energy oxidative radicals. It doesn't interfere with like lower energy oxidative radicals, a lot of them which are used by the body for signaling systems. So even at 10,000 times what a person would take in multiple scientific studies had no toxic effect, whatever.
And it's stronger, it's more powerful than vitamin C, right?
Yes.
David wants to know, how would a stabilized oxygen supplement affect the efficacy of C60?
Well, if it's stabilized oxygen, probably wouldn't do that. Yeah, because you're not going to be, if it's increasing oxygen in your body, that's fine because you're probably not going to be making hydroxyl radicals or superoxygen or hydrogen peroxides. Those would be, that you probably couldn't even ingest something like that. So it probably won't interfere at all.
Welcome, Sheila. She says she's new here.
Yep,
hi. Nice to meet you. What are the top benefits of C60 Purple Power?
Oh, well, number one, it reduces inflammation. Inflammation causes half the diseases and deaths today. And inflammation is caused by oxidative radicals. So C60 gets rid of the oxidative radicals, which then stop the inflammation. And then your body works better. Your mental clarity works. People's brain fog goes away. And also the other thing is, the second thing, it restores your energy levels because C60 makes, as we get older, a lot of the antioxidants our body makes to support, especially mitochondria function, go way down. So your mitochondria can't work at optimum efficiency. C60 goes in there, replaces all those missing antioxidants plus some. So now your mitochondria can work at optimum efficiency. So you're getting all the ATP you need, all the pregnenolone, which means all the hormones you need. And the people get all this, the energy's back, the brain fog goes away, the motivation comes back. It's just, it's just amazing. And some of your hair comes back too. So
and it does actually get rid of wrinkles on some level.
Yeah, turn gray hairs and the brown hairs, and
and you can apply it topically. I love using the MCT coconut oil. If you put it on your feet, you could give yourself like a pedicure, put some socks on, and go about your business. And then later in the day, you could take your socks off. It's amazing how your feet just transform. You can also make face masks with it. It's pretty cool. And if you sign up for our newsletter, I'll send you some recipes. So make sure you do that at c60purplepower.com. How about this one? Will C60 detox the pineal gland in the brain?
Oh, well, it'll make pregnenolone, which will certainly allow pineal gland to operate maximum efficiency. It's going to restore ATP, which means those cells can start flushing that. And it also stimulates stem cell production. It causes apoptosis of like senescent cells, zombie dead cells that they're still around, but they're not producing anything. They're just drawing lots of energy, producing nothing. It'll wipe those ones out. All apoptosis gets rid of the zombie cells in your body. Then it stimulates stem cells. Stem cells come in, replace those zombie cells. They're fully functional. Like for instance, Sierra, you can talk about how your thyroid came back.
Yeah, so it's interesting. I went to see my doctor back in October, and I was diagnosed with thyroiditis in my 30s, and I've had it for a few years. And when I went back, she actually recommended I lower my dose of thyroid medicine by 2/3. So that's huge. It could be a sign that it's restoring my thyroid function on some level. It might do this because of stem cells.
Yeah,
as well,
exactly.
right?
You're literally rebuilding it. So yeah, if you want to decalcify your pineal gland, well, C60 is a good step that way.
And as you age, another thing that declines is stem cell production. And unfortunately, like that's what we need for our skin cell turnover rate. So your skin will get thinner, things like that. So the stem cell production, C60 actually helps the stem cell production. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, we had a special customer from Russia, just out at to them, and he was 86 years old, and he used to go in 5 or 6 times to get enough stem cells to do one treatment, right? After doing C60, he can go in one time and has enough stem cells to do that treatment. So yeah, that's because it really brings back the stem cells, which then go in, and stem cells convert into new tissue types. So it literally helps you regrow yourself. And there's a whole thing on how people have used C60 for a long period of time, have much longer telomeres. That's because they're literally replacing old cells with new cells that have a full set of telomeres, so average telomere length goes up. But that's another show.
Since we have someone new on here today, we'll mention the Paris-Bati study, which is a very cornerstone study researching C60 that accidentally found the health benefits, that it doubled the lifespan of rats and also prevented cognitive disease and other
disease associated
age-related.
Yeah, basically double the lifespan. That's when they tested it for toxicity, and they did that. They did it also. Some other people did it with mice, and which mice have much shorter lifetimes. So
it might actually reverse your age and also increase your life.
Yeah.
span.
So one of the problems, that's because it's unfortunately the mice live like for 6 years till the last few C60 mice had a terrible accident, so they could actually publish the paper. But it did, it doubled their lifespan of test animals multiple times, multiple studies.
Natalie wants to know, does C60 help with allergies? Yes. In fact, we did a show all about that and how C60 reduces the allergy response. Very interesting. A lot of science involved with that. I've experienced that myself. I used to not be able to go outside in the springtime and go for a jog or anything because I would absolutely have a huge allergy response. Now I might just get a few sniffles during the spring or fall, but it's nothing compared to what it used to be. So it definitely helps. I also noticed though, that if I do get any sort of allergy symptoms, they happen later in the day. And it's like, that's because I take my C60 in the morning, right? So if you do find that you get them later in the day, you can take a little dose mid-afternoon to prevent that. So good question. Mike Jones says, I know someone going through radiation treatments and came across your product. Is this something that can help protect against the collateral damage of the treatments?
Oh, absolutely.
That's what we found that's what you found in this company.
Exactly. I used it to protect from radiation. And we've had people that have used it during certain treatments that use radiation, and they didn't get sick. Their hair didn't fall out. And at the end of the treatment, they had complete remission. So it's like, it won't interfere, doesn't appear, this has happened multiple times, doesn't interfere with the whole process. It actually makes it even more efficient. So we had like multiple full remissions and things that have like 5% efficacy.
Check out our show.
It's amazing.
Check out the episode we did all about how C60 helps prevent damage from radiation. You can look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, but the cells that need to get taken out, and the healthy ones stay. So it's quite amazing. Yeah, C60 just makes that whole process treatment 10 times more effective.
Susan says, does C60 neutralize MMS CI02?
No, it won't do MMS. It's not that does not high enough oxidative radical potential to really do that. So yeah, it's not going to be a problem there.
Tina says, hi, Ken and Sierra. Hi, Tina. I've never felt better after taking C60 Purple Power, and has provided me with confidence through the pandemic. I take a teaspoon a day and topically for allergies. Love and light.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, peace of mind. I definitely have peace of mind because of C60, though I'm still very, very careful about.
Yeah, well, I have, because I was going to,
situation.
I had the old macular degeneration, which has all gone away, and I was worried, oh my God, am I going to go blind? Well, not anymore. So that's good.
And we did do a show all about how C60 can enhance your immune system. So definitely check that out if you're worried about.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, when we're talking all this stuff, look, it's all these toxins. That's what our subject is today, and all these other things, radiation, whatever, they produce oxidative radicals. Oxidative radicals cause inflammation and other damage. And so by taking C60, it neutralizes the oxidative radicals, so you don't get the damage that causes inflammation or whatever else is there. And that's what's really important.
And your immune system can function better because you're not getting this crazy inflammation that's causing, and that's why a lot of people are having issues with the COVID stuff because
look, if your immune cells got C60 in them, then they aren't going to get damaged by oxidative radicals. They're going to be operating at full efficiency. And then also, because you have this big army of stem cells, those stem cells can be converted into new white blood cells or new red cells, because CV attacks red blood cells. So you've got an army of stem cells ready to step up, like you were 20 years old, even if you're 70. So so that's really important to for the whole process. And by the way, we don't have any reports of C60 and CV.
Yeah, so let us know.
Yeah, if that ever happened, because nobody's been getting sick anyway, or at least send us reports of it. So we have no information on that because it's not happening.
There is a study out there that suggests that C60 might inhibit the growth of viruses. So if you want to go to c60purplepower.com/science and you want to get a little nerdy and get into all the different studies, we've got links to all the studies and all the health benefits right there.
Yeah, it was like last time we checked, there's over like 1,600 papers on C60, science papers out there. Not all of them are health related, but there's just a vast amount of literature.
Randy says, love C60. Quick, does HQC decalcify pineal? Do you know that?
HQC.
I don't know what that is. HQC?
I'm not sure about, I know they had skate oil was once said to be pretty good, and actually set some evidence for that.
Is that the hydrochloroquine thing?
Yeah, HQC, maybe. I don't know.
I have no idea.
Decalcifying. What you want to do is look, your pineal gland, your pituitary gland, they're actually going to turn over several times during your lifetime. So when you got a good, healthy bunch of stem cells and you got C60 is going to cause apoptosis and senescent cells. So all those senescent non-functioning cells are going to get wiped out, and then they're going to be replaced by stem cells, which those are young, baby, youthful cells that can do a full job. And so, it'll do. And then if your cells that's another thing. C60 helps buffer calcium in the cells. So it probably will help the cells deal with calcium and get it out, because that's one of the things that C60 helps, is buffering calcium in the cells.
So Sherry has joined us today. Good to see you, Sherry. And she says her hair's been growing back. She had hair loss from thyroid issues. It is growing back, and the new hair almost is long enough to fit in a ponytail holder. Yes, that is amazing. I've noticed that as well, because I also have thyroid issues, and I don't lose my hair like I used to and have big clumps of it come out in my brush. That doesn't happen. So I'm very happy about that. So let's see. Steven says, tell me why I should buy C60 Purple Power over ESS C60.
Oh, well, we use sublimated C60, and ESS is good stuff, but it's still part of the solvent system. We use sublimated C60. Sublimated is just basically another form of evaporation. So we get the raw product is the same on both sides, and then you just put it. There's a thing called a sublimator. It's basically like an evaporator, and you just heat it up to 400 degrees Celsius on one side of the sublimator. It's cooler on the other side, so C60 turns to a gas, goes across the sublimator, condenses on the other side. You scrape it off, and now you've got 99.99% pure C60, never been exposed to solvents or anything. Even though ESS stuff the solvent load is negligible, it's just better if you don't even have it in the whole process, then you don't even have to worry about it. It's not even a record. That's why you don't have to ESS it. It's just C60, 99.99% pure sublimated.
And it's 100% solvent free.
Yep.
So that's good. And also we use organic oils and everything is third party tested for purity, bioavailability, and concentration. So you will know exactly what product you're getting. Also, our C60 is sourced right here in the US.
Yes.
Another one, let's see. Randy's question was regarding POTUS and whatever Trump is taking. Oh yeah, that was a hydroxychloroquine.
Oh yeah. Oh, hydroxychloroquine. Yeah, I am not a medical doctor, cannot give medical advice, but they have seen hydroxychloroquine works. The studies I've seen, right? They had that, and they used zinc, and they used erythromycin. Anyway, those three together work, and they put out some studies that, oh, it doesn't work here, and then there's other studies of guys that get it right. I mean, you can either, there are certain big corporations who don't like that, so they will finance a study, and all these studies that had the negative thing on that, they were pushed through. Usually I've done science papers, like takes a year or two to get published. These things get published within a week. Yeah, right. Follow the money, so we don't even want to go there.
Okay, yeah, let's not. If you want to watch Ken on some of his guest
so I have other guest appearances where we talk about these things, but not on the C60 show.
No. So Susan says, been using C60 Purple Power and avocado oil, and it's great. Is that the best one to use as facial moisturizer, or should I try MCT option for topical use? I can answer this one a little bit. I like the MCT coconut oil because it's thin. It seems to absorb more quickly, whereas the olive, although olive has really great benefits, and so does avocado, they're really high in minerals, which are great for your skin. So any of them would work really well. I just find that the coconut absorbs a little quickly.
Yeah, and that makes sense because it's MCT means medium chain triglycerides. So they're shorter chain molecules. So that would tend to be absorbed quicker than longer chain molecules.
And that's important because if you just have the oil sitting on top of your skin and never really absorbs, I don't know if it's going to do much good, right?
Yeah, the faster, MCT. And MCT has antibacterial and antifungal benefits as well.
Has C60 been shown to help reverse vaccine-induced damage? With the excellent detox capability, it seems that it could only help.
Well, yeah, it has fixed, in scientific studies, it's fixed damage that could be associated with vaccines, but there's been no direct study for that. Not that anyone's going to finance it either.
Well, perhaps the mercury.
The mercury is one thing, and probably the aluminum hydroxide can probably help your body. And, it's all of those things. And, if you do have to take a vaccine, it's best to fast for a day before you take it. So, and then after you take it, keep fasting because that tends to prevent the deposition of heavy metals and other nasty chemicals that come with it. So that's just one of those things. We're going to go to the other.
We've got some email questions here. Barbara says, hello, I'm 73 and I need more oxygen in my body. My brain just doesn't seem to work as well as it used to. Does C60 facilitate the absorption of oxygen in my system and also help prevent dementia?
Well, in animals test studies it did, but those animals were taking it their whole life. And so there's that, and that's a scientific thing. Anecdotally, we have a lot of reports. And as I mentioned before, part of the thing when you have C60 and your mitochondria are functioning, C60 can go in there and replace SOD, and instead of going through the whole process, it'll actually turn superoxygen back into regular oxygen, which then can go back into the Krebs cycle. So yeah, it would increase oxygen availability in the mitochondria for the Krebs cycle. Yes, it can do that.
All right. Hello, I am hormone replacement. She's taking hormone replacement therapy. Can you tell how C60 affects these?
Well, one of the things is once you take C60, it's going to make pregnenolone, which is made in the mitochondria. It's going to go way up, which means then your body's going to be producing a lot more hormones than it used to. So you probably want to consult with your doctor because you might not be needing hormone replacement therapy. Like we had a 70-year-old guy, right? He wrote us up. He had 345 on the testosterone, which is kind of low. So they gave him creams, and it managed to get him up to about 750. But, and that's where he was. So then he took C60 and he went up to 1200, right? Really rapidly. So the doctor backed him off of the thyroid creams. The testosterone creams. So yeah, if you're taking hormone replacement therapy and you take C60, a lot of those hormones that weren't being made are now going to be produced by your body. So you may end up having more hormones than you need. So yeah, you need to like consult with your doctor.
And get tested more frequently.
And get tested, yeah. That's important. Yeah, get tested more frequently.
I get tested at least twice a year because of that. So, and just be familiar with, having too much of the hormone. I am familiar with that, so I can tell. And that's when I'm like, okay, I need to go get tested. All right. So Pat says, I heard C60 has helped some people with tremors. Any thoughts on how long it could take to see a difference in a recommended dosage? I've been taking the C60 MCT oil for about 1 week. No changes yet.
Okay, it takes a while sometimes on that. And at the levels, depending on your age, you might need to, MCT coconut oil has a little bit less C60 than like avocado or olive oil. So you need to take a little bit more. So maybe a tablespoon is more appropriate than a teaspoon to get up there. And of course, sometimes you want to take it with food. If you've never taken an oil before, like a raw oil product before, you might want to mix it with food because your body takes a while to learn how to digest it. Otherwise it goes right through you. So after 2 or 3 weeks, it won't be a problem. But when you first take it, sometimes take it with food, and that just makes the digestive easier. But yeah, it definitely works with a lot of people with Parkinson's. Say their tremors and systems go down. We've had people with Huntington's. They could actually start driving a car again. They were, of course, taking like tablespoons a day.
How many?
Tablespoons. Yeah, big amounts. But that's, Huntington's is a pretty serious disease. And so they were able to, it didn't eliminate the disease, but it certainly reduced tremors. People with essential tremor, that's another, for if you know about it, it's a genetically inherited thing from Scandinavian people. It reduces that hugely. So yeah, we have lots of reports from customers that it does that.
It is said, this is a message from Wolfgang, it is said that molecular hydrogen has a detoxifying effect. You said that drinking molecular hydrogen water enhances the efficacy of C60. Would DMSO help to circulate C60 faster or enhance its efficacy if taken at the same time?
Yeah, well, the C60 molecule is a hydrogen sponge. And actually that's why, because your body actually produces like 11 liters of hydrogen gas a day if you eat a good high fiber diet. That's why a high fiber diet's good, because it's producing molecular hydrogen, which your body uses as an antioxidant and a signaling molecule, right? C60, and normally if you take hydrogen water, the hydrogen goes in your bloodstream and it just degasses within 11 minutes. It's out of your body, right? But if you got C60 is a hydrogen sponge. This little sucker can hold up to 56 hydrogen atoms, 6 inside of its chamber. And so if you take hydrogen gas with C60, all that hydrogen gas will stick to the C60 and hang around until it's used up in the antioxidant process. So it'll allow that retention of hydrogen gas hugely. And also the hydrogen gas is being made in your gut all the time. Instead of it degassing out into the atmosphere, a lot of it will stick to the C60, and then the C60 can use that in antioxidant reactions. And DMSO, I'm not sure about internally taking DMSO. That's not probably a good idea, but I'm not a medical doctor, can't give medical advice. But a lot of customers have found that if they use like C60 topically on joints that are aching, and then they use DMSO, because DMSO allows things to be absorbed. It's kind of like it opens up the pores, and they found that it went into their joints faster and more effectively. But as a topical measure, I don't know, taking DMSO internally might not be the best idea.
But we know C60 does help produce cartilage.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, not only does it stop the inflammation of arthritis in animal study models, it actually stimulated the growth of cartilage to replace the damaged one. So it was like they got rid of the inflammation and then it started healing.
Mark says, in a previous C60 show, Ken said that C60 doesn't chelate mercury, but instead displaces mercury. However, a study published in PubMed says results suggest that C60 may be useful in capturing soluble mercury and thus reducing mercury biotoxicity, which sounds like chelation. Here's a link to the study. I think that's, we'll have to.
Oh, yes, I've read the study, and actually, I don't know how they got that published. They didn't even understand the mechanism of action. They used a very small amount of C60, and the C60 acted as a catalyst. And what it did, it turned the mercury hydroxide into mercury oxide, and then mercury oxide is not bioavailable. That's what it was doing in the study. Those scientists, they're not really bright enough to figure that out. I used to teach chemistry, and they're biochemists, and maybe, inorganic chemists can teach them a few. I'm a biogeochemist, by the way. Can give them a few pointers that they missed that. I don't understand. Yeah, no, it just turns, it acted as a catalyst to turn mercury hydroxide into mercury oxide, which is not biologically active, but the body can identify it and says this is an inorganic substance that needs to go out and clean it out. So that's what it's doing. But it does the same with titanium oxide or titanium hydroxide or aluminum hydroxide. Yeah, that's one of the things in vaccines, a lot of aluminum hydroxide. C60 highly likely would turn that aluminum hydroxide into aluminum oxide, which then your body could remove a lot easier.
We're going to speed. I know we're over our time here.
We're over our time, but
we're going to speed through a few more questions. Darth asks, are canned foods like kidney beans, chili beans, or other canned foods safe?
One of the problems is BPA. When you eat a lot of canned foods, there's a BPA in it. It's a lining on the outside so the thing doesn't rust through. BPA has a habit of sticking to the insulin receptor sites on your cells, so it can actually cause problems with your glucose processing. It kind of sticks there for a while. Eventually it'll come off, but it kind of sticks there. It interferes with the insulin receptors. So if you eat a lot of canned foods, then you can have kind of glucose processing issues. Of course, if you don't eat the canned foods for a week, it'll almost all go away. But that's just to be aware of that. Minimize your canned food intake if you can.
Yeah, that's really interesting, the connection of diabetes. We all think of sugar being the cause, but over the last 2 decades, the sugar consumption has gone down, but diabetes has steadily been on the rise. And some people think that it's because of the toxins in the environment.
Yep. BPA is one of them, but there's a whole bunch of other little nasties out there that PBCs and stuff like that. Yeah, that's why minimizing your toxins. And when you have C60, those toxins make oxidative radicals. The oxidative radicals do the damage. So if you got C60, it'll neutralize the oxidative radicals. So even if you got toxins, and we all do, then you can minimize the damage they're causing to your body.
All right. We have 2 more questions from YouTube. Has C60 been shown? Oh, no, sorry. Is C60 recommended for kystis on the body, face, skin? Any advice on that? Cysts? Is it cysts?
Kystis. Yeah, it's like, I would try it. Yeah, it could probably do that because it restores proper cell function. If proper cell function is restored, then whatever the problem is causing that, and that's probably being caused by toxins in the body. So C60 reduces those toxins. And when your body gets weak, that's when you have these problems. Either viruses reactivate or other biochemical processes don't work right. And then you have dis-ease. But if you can make sure that your cellular chemistry is working right, then a lot of those things just go away. And as I said before, C60 doesn't cure anything. It just lifts the oxidative burden the cells are under so they can heal themselves.
All right, we got our last question. Would it be beneficial to apply C60 topically on a sore wrist or shoulder joint with possible ligament damage in addition to consuming it?
Oh, absolutely. It can do that. That's like the guys did with DMSO, makes it go in faster. So yeah, absolutely, it will help that. And to do that topically because your skin does absorb. It's a little slower, but if you just, you put it on there, just have to wait a while for it to get in. It will definitely help with that.
Yeah, so that's the end of our live Q&A, but I do have another story that I would love to share from a customer that sent us a testimonial. This one is about restored liver function. Thomas says, I have lost about 50 pounds since taking C60 Purple Power. I was diagnosed by an endocrinologist as being overweight due to a genetic problem with my liver, which runs through my family. So the only explanation of the weight loss is what I would call a miraculous restoration of my liver function.
Yeah, and maybe God didn't have anything to do with this, but one of the things, like the other people, they said, they have genetic disease, right? Well, maybe it really isn't a genetic disease. It just might be a weakness to a toxin or something like that.
The family happens to be exposed to.
Exactly.
And so it seems like it runs in the family.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, supposedly it's like the other. Supposedly you get kidney damage, it can't heal itself. Well, it can. The liver thing, there's nothing you can do about it. It's genetic. Well, it fixed itself, right? So whenever they tell you, this can't be fixed, this can't be healed, well, maybe it can. And even if a C60 may not be the pathway to fix that, just remember when they give you these diagnoses, there is always second and third opinions. And if you do the research and go out there, you can find people who've had successful outcomes. So for whatever it is, and then you can follow. But part of the thing we've always talked about is take control of your own health. Do your own research. Just don't rely on some expert, either us or some dude in a white coat, right? Though nobody is perfect and nobody has perfect knowledge, and every individual is different. And so you need to do your own research and make your own decisions, because you're the one responsible for your health. Nobody else is. Nobody's going to take care of it and other than you. So make those choices, but make them intelligently.
Yeah, we're just recommending you try C60 Purple Power for yourself. C60purplepower.com. But also, if you have a story, if you've been taking C60 for a little while, we would love to hear it. And I don't know if you guys are just starting C60 or if you're thinking about trying C60. Wouldn't it be cool if you did a before and after diagnostic test to see what your heavy metals are, and then take C60 for a few months and then get tested again? I would love to see that.
Yeah, we love that, because we've had a lot of people that take C60 and then they go get tests and they're great, but what was their test before?
You don't know.
That's how we had that guy with the telomeres. He was 54, took a telomere test, had telomeres of a 53-year-old, right? Then he took C60 for 3.5 years, went back, got it again. It was like a 38-year-old telomere length. So, but that's because he had a before and after. And so, we really love that if you had a before and after test. So,
we love hearing about measurable results that people are having with C60. So please share. You can leave a voicemail at 1-800-367-8209, which is our testimonial hotline. You can also do a written testimonial at c60purplepower.com/testimonial. And guess what? If we share your testimonial on the show or on any of our videos, we are going to give you a free bottle of C60, any flavor of your choice. So do it.
Yep. And remember to visit c60purplepower.com, our website. And if you use the coupon code, the C60 show, you can get 10% off your entire order.
Also, visit theimmunitybootcamp.com if you'd like some helpful tips on improving your immune system. There's a lot of great content there, and you will receive in your inbox some very simple steps you can do to start boosting your immune system right away. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're so glad you were here today, being part of the C60 Purple Power community.
Yep. And if you liked the show today, put like and share and send it to your friends. And remember, we have all these shows on on YouTube on C60 Purple Power channel. And it's also on Facebook too. So you can go like our Facebook C60 Purple Power Facebook page, and we have all of the shows listed. So just like and share and send it to friends. And we've got, if you go to our library of shows on YouTube, we have like, I don't know, what do we got, 50 shows now, something like that, and all covering all different types of health issues. So if you have a health issue and you want to know how C60 can help for that health issue, just go there, look for the health issue, click on it, and it's been going on for a couple of years now, and we got, 50 plus shows there. It's amazing.
Yeah, if you like checking out the testimonials, definitely follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We do post testimonials regularly. We get a lot of them, and you can go check those out. You can also listen to the C60 show from your favorite podcast app. And we actually edit that show, so it's really nice. It's concise.
Yep, and we are coming up to a different change in the format that we're going to kind of take a hiatus on the live C60 shows, but we'll still be having shows. But Sierra can say a little bit more about that.
So this is because of I have decided, and the team has decided, that we really want to focus on some short videos and answer, because we've got some frequently asked questions that we would love to create little short 2-minute videos, maybe up to 20-minute videos. But we still want to get your questions and also ideas for topics, things that you would like us to address in a shorter format video. So we're going to do some more high production value short video series. So still definitely email us your questions at questions@c60purplepower.com. And we might do a live Q&A here and there.
We go. Yeah, there'll be less live Q&As, but less live shows. But we're going to have other shows, shorter ones that are all really edited, so they'll look cool.
And we will premiere them and be there presently when it's live, so that we can answer your questions in the chat as well. But our goal is to continue to answer these questions for people and make it more accessible. So we're going to step up and for high quality production. We will miss you though.
Yes, we will. But we'll still come be around every now and then.
Live shows, but they're a lot of work, and so it's time to focus. Time to focus on some editing.
We can editing things out.
We can edit out all that. No.
Yeah, but anyway,
we'll keep in the good stuff. We promise.
Yeah, so we'll still be here, but just won't be as many live shows.
Yeah.
So enjoy your summer. and yeah, and get outside and get some sunlight and exercise, and
Stay healthy.
yes.
All right.